Normally, in international wise, these things are not happening, but in our India, it is very popular due to this red tapeism and all. Long before now, it is after the WTO and all free trade and everything is changed now. In the recent budget, direct tax benefits are talk of the town now, the 12 lakhs ceiling and all. And the indirect tax is concerned, our Chief Commissioner and Commissioner of Import is here to speak about all these things. The reduction of duty for leather and battery for cell and other things will definitely benefit the trade and industry, and particularly with the EV automobile industry, it will benefit. Since the leather exports are mainly concerned in Tamil Nadu, the reduction of duty for leather will also benefit the trade and industry, leather industries particularly. The life-saving drugs and other, that is cancer and other drugs are exempted from something. Basic custom duty reduction and all. And the tariff reduced from 15 to 8, including the 0. This is in customs, which will facilitate the easy assessment and other things. The electronic things and ice gates all came and made so many improvements and developments in filing of book of entry and shipping bills and other things. It will further, the tariff is reduced. Our Sanjay, SK Agarwal, Sanjay Kumar Agarwal, CBSE chairman, today also gave a press report that we are reduced so much of tariff. And the finance secretary also made the same announcement today at the Now coming to this GST and all, usually is after the GST committee of finance ministers and other, it is not done much in budget because everything is up to the GST committee, which is more powerful. So normally the direct tax GST is not much used to be in budget. The indirect tax concerned only the customs duties, usual things we have to discuss. And direct tax connected with so many senior citizens and allowances, rental allowance up to 6 lakhs and all will verify of Sanjay Kumar and other speakers. And two of the speakers, Mr. Vaidiswaran and Abhishek, will come and join because they are having speech at another chamber. Soon they will join. I welcome Mr. Abhishek and Vaidiswaran also for this union budget. And now it is the time to honor our guest. V. Manohar, Vice President, will honor Commissioner of Imports, KSV Prasad IRS. D. Vetrivel will honor Sanjay Kumar.
Now I call upon Mr. K.S.V.V. Prasad to give his address. He is the Chief Commissioner of Imports at Chennai Port, Chennai Customs. My apologies, he will introduce himself. We request no introduction to the trade.
Respected Principal Chief Commissioner, respected President of this August Association, respected Satyakumar, respected Ramashishi, respected elders and dear friends. Actually, you will be knowing better than me about the budget because by this time you might have analyzed what is related to your industry or trade and what is its effect on your next year. So, but as a formality, I am supposed to tell about the government's work also. As all of you know, budget is not just a listing of receipts and expenditure. Actually, it reflects the government's priority and it reflects the direction of the economy and it reflects actually the country, what is going to be its what is its goal and particularly by particular next year, what is they trying to shape the economy. So you might be seeing that particularly this time they have taken lot of changes in customs. Normally, last 2 years I see there are very minimal changes in the customs that are happening, but this time many changes they have brought into the Customs Act, Customs Tariff Act, as well as customs rates. So I have not prepared particularly for this one, but I can divide into the two categories. First, particularly that trade facilitation methods. You will be knowing the government is committed for the facilitation of the genuine trade. So that is why ease of doing business, that is the motto. So they are trying they will just actually from the government official side, we also will be regularly conducting the time release studies. So how much, what is the transaction cost, how much the transaction time. So we are always trying to minimize this so that we will be competing with many developed countries in doing that is the ease of doing business because that is one step to attract investors. So you might be particularly in customs starting from the EDA, automation is well established. And now it has gone to the business assessment. And almost every time some new facility is being extended. Now everything is automated and even recently, a few weeks back, we started even out of charge is given automatically, automated particularly for the tier 2 and tier 3 importers. So that is the way we are going. So this budget also actually wanted much more facilities, particularly for the genuine trade. So I think you will be knowing one is putting a time limit for provisional assessment finalization. Because that is the one complaint where the trade is actually saying that it is being provisional for years. So there is uncertainty. So they wanted certainty. Now they have put time limit of 2 years. Of course, extendable by 1 year. With subject to some certain restrictions, whatever if there is a court case is pending. So, except that one, now it became shut. The word used is shut, means it is mandatory requirement for finalization. So, this is one area I think trade can expect a lot of activity and many of if there are any issues are pending that will be finalized soon. So, this is one area. And another area in the Customs Act is actually self-amendment. That is, earlier, for any correction, once the bill of entry is filed, any correction need to go for the amendment under 149, or you have to go for, if the assessment is over, you have to go for the appeal. But now there is if the self-assessment case, they have given a provision that you can correct it. For example, sometimes what happens, there will be some very typographical errors. So these things also you have to go to the officers for amendment from the documentation. Now you can correct it. So this is one message. So that it will get a baseless assessment or whatever the present day we are doing is to reduce the human intervention. So that is why automation we have gone almost now 90% of the bills of entry are cleared automatically without human intervention. That based on the risk-based analysis, almost it is 90%. So now this even the corrections also. Now they wanted that let it be done because this is a trust-based approach. We are believing it to the genuine traders they have to believe. So that because of some 5% of the fraudsters, 95% of the genuine traders should not suffer. That is the motto. So that is why now another provision has been brought into the customs side. That is the section 80 they have brought in. These are the major changes in the customs side. Of course, other changes are to make these provisions applicable to the wherever it is a finalization or refund, everything just to make it. So these are the two major changes they made in the Customs Act. Further, already Sri Last Secretary has already mentioned about the rationalization of the rate structures. Earlier it was around 15 different rates. Now they have been brought into 8. So why it is? Because if there is a different rates are there, for example, there is a 25%, 20%, 30%. Always the department says that these goods are actually liable to the duty at 30%. The importer will always say that no, these are liable to the 20%. There is a matter of dispute with them. But if the entire rate is only 20%, then there is no need for dispute, neither for the department nor for the importer. So that is the way they have taken up. Now I think 25, 30, 35, 40, all these were mandated to 20%. So it is beneficial. It is actually not on the other hand. So they made it into the worst. Same thing, 100, 125, 150, they made it to the 70%. So the blame on Indian government is from the outside countries because the tariff rates are as high as 150%. So that has been they wanted to mitigate. So in the tariff rates, tariff values, the tariff rate in the schedule also is being amended. So that is another. This is also one way of the trade facilitation without doing business because they wanted to minimize it. On the other side also we are taking a lot of invading litigation. Wherever the department has gone for litigation, they have prescribed some threshold limits. If it is some 50 lakhs value or the duty involved, then they say that okay, there is no need for going to litigation. Like that we are already doing this. So this is another way of enhancing the idea of doing this. So another thing is that just I want to share because our principal CC is here. I was earlier NAC convener for the chapter 85. So I had also actually we proposed there the working committee members we proposed. There is a dispute about that the carrier Ethernet is between there is 10%, 20%. If it is non-carrier, it is 10%, and carrier it is 20%. So always there is a dispute. And even the telecom department is unable to clarify whether what is the criteria for differentiating these things. They say that no, it is based on the end user. End user legally describe that it is actually we are using for this non-carrier purpose. So then we recommended that let it be the uniform rate, either 10% or 20%. To make it one rate so that this dispute will not happen. So they made it no. They made it everything 10%. So like that, so wherever there is a bone of contention about different things, we are trying to minimize that one by rationalizing the rates. So this is, I think, the budget has taken a lot of care, particularly in these areas. So many actually for giving the clarity, because I don't want to elaborate much. So many tariff lines have been added, so that to give the clarity and to make it more simplified rate structures to the importers. So this is the area I just I wanted to say. So second one, just other point is that industry specific. Like different industries have been given booster because the government is basically wanted clean technology. That is the basic idea. That is why they are actually wanting all the support for the electrical vehicles. You might be seeing whatever it is required for the electrical vehicles, particularly this lithium-ion batteries. So because that is the area we are lacking. So we are almost majority with import. So they wanted that let it be the raw materials or whatever components required for this one, let it be allowed for import, so that the manufacturing activity can take place, so that the affordability of these electrical vehicles, because this is one is considered as a clean energy, so green energy. So that they wanted that. So they gave so many, I can say, majority of this concessions were given in this sector. Like that solar, this is another area they have taken. So wherever possible, they have given concessions on this. So another one is that because this is particularly for Tamil Nadu, this leather industry also, there is a lot of concessions have been provided. So that will also boost up our export capital, because this is one of the hub where actually one of the area we are having a strong export potential. So that is why they wanted to give support to this sector. This one. Like that, there are several areas where actually they wanted to give. Particularly the motto is that to support the domestic industry, at the same time to make that Make in India program more viable, because that will be viable only when that its raw material or technologies are allowed for in a better competitive way. So that is the, I think, motto of this government. It is quite visible in the budget. Whatever I see from the customs point of view. So thank you for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for which is unique budget. Now the next speaker is the young and energetic man, Satya Kumar, who is doing a lot of TV debates and appearing in high courts, Supreme Court, and all over India, doing so much of work, and also involved in social activities. Also, I request Mr. Satya Kumar to take.
Very good evening to all the members of Tamil Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And I recognize the presence of the Dr. Ram Nivas IRS, Principal Chief Commissioner of CGST and Central Excise Tamil Nadu Puducherry. I also recognize the presence of the KSV Prasad IRS, Commissioner of Customs, Chennai. And thank you so much for Tamil Chamber of Commerce and Industry This marks my 10th year in the budget presentation of Tamil Chamber. I am loyal to this chamber because I have grown with this chamber. When I saw 80th year, in 80 years I have presented 10 years of budget. And purely because of the love and affection of our President Suranachia and the officials of Tamil Chamber of Commerce and Industry. This budget comes at a time when middle class is in crisis. Before 1 week, I wanted to have this budget presentation very interactive because what matters to you, I wanted to present. This, all the opinion expressed is of mine, neither of the chamber nor of my office. So I claim the entire liability, or if you may appreciate, I will claim it. Just before 1 week of the budget, some of the national medias and newspapers and some of the regional medias wanted reflections on what could be the focus of the president. So generally we are not astrologers. We have to go by the problem in hand. The problem today, as we see, is the inflation. Straight to the point. You have food price inflation, you have asset price inflation. Today was somebody's salary, who's earning salary in some of the companies, let's assume even lakh rupees, 2 lakh rupees or 3 lakh rupees per year, per month, will find it difficult to buy a property in center of Chennai. The property prices are 3 crores, 2 crores, 4 crores, and we don't know who fixes this price. And it keeps increasing. And there is a lack of resources around it also. Water problem, road issues, traffic, and all those things. On the other side, we have food price inflation. So how do you know the food price inflation? You go to home and you interact with your wife or your mother, who feeds you on that day. Apart from appreciating the particular person who is feeding you, you should ask what is the price of tomato or onion. When the price is increasing continuously. And on the other side, GST is increasing and income tax collections are very nationalized. So there is a requirement for the government to focus on the middle class. Now, who is the middle class? The definition is required. If you pursue yourself as a middle class, you are the middle class. If you pursue yourself as a poor, you pursue yourself as a poor. It's a term where middle class alone were suffering too much of taxes, and in the reflection which I gave, I said government should provide tax incentive for the middle class up to 15 lakhs. And I said this, when I saw the comments, people say it's going to be a joke. And when the budget announcement happened, many of them returned back to the video and said, we vividly remember, only you made this statement in the entire country that up to 15 lakhs the government will come out with the benefit for the tax. But however, the government only gave what? 12 lakhs. 12 lakhs as of now, but 15 lakhs they will definitely reach by 2027. So 15 lakhs is guaranteed for sure. But this step that the government has taken only because the tax should not eat away your consumption. Today, consumption is required, primarily to ensure money should come out so the economy picks up. There is a certain crisis existing in the economy. Now we are pegging the fiscal deficit to 4.4%, and GDP growth is somewhere at 7%. On the other side, you have the inflation rising and the fixed deposits are not giving that much return. Gold prices are rising, which is adding up to the asset price inflation. And this budget comes out in the middle of all this scenario. And when Honorable Finance Minister presented a budget, in the 5th paragraph, I wanted to quote this. She quoted Telugu playwright and poets, writings. She said, that is the Telugu poet is Gurjara Apparao said, Deshamante Mantikadu, Deshamante Manishi. The meaning is the country is not just its soil, country is its people, because people only can pay tax. because property tax comes under the state subsidy. Accordingly, there is a requirement to increase the tax to the government, and accordingly, the first focus of the government was to look at the middle class of the country. Let me take you through what exactly is the benefit that they are providing. 12 lakhs is what they said there is no tax. Immediately, the finance minister on the next line said, spoke about the tax slabs. So the point which we noted, it is not the exemption limit up to 12 lakhs. The exemption limit somewhere lies between 4 lakhs now because of the revised tax rate, which is 0 to 4 lakhs is 0%. What model they have adopted is a rebate model. You are earning 12 lakhs, then you are getting a rebate of about 60,000 rupees. Of course, they have said standard deduction of 75,000 rupees, 12 lakhs plus 75,000. So 75,000 straight away you get a standard deduction. 12 lakh is what is provided as a 60,000 is what they are provided as a rebate. Let's assume I am an employee. I wanted to give you some increment. I come back to you and say, I provide an increment of 12,000 rupees, 1,000 rupees per month as an increment. Will you accept that increment as a question? You should not accept that increment until there is a substantial increment for you. Generally, people will not increase 12,000. If at all, they will increase by 50,000 or 1 lakh or 2 lakhs, whatever it is for the person who is earning 12 lakhs. Let's assume it's an assumption. If it increases by 12 lakh, you are taxed from 4 lakh onwards. That means any marginal increase, even by 1 paisa, as per law, it is taxed. What is taxed? From 4 lakh onwards. Accordingly, the benefit that is flowing for all of you from this budget is to those people who are earning up to 12 lakhs, and 12 lakhs is not the basic exemption. That's a clarity about it. But what is exactly the saving of the middle class because of this? Who is earning 12 lakhs? We are talking about people who are earning 12 lakhs. It's 60,000 rupees. Ideally, what will middle class do with this 60,000? They may put their kids into a better school. If at all the 60,000, they may try. What is the focus of the government here? Probably the focus of the government is not to make you get into saving, because the finance minister spoke about it. She spoke clearly that consumption will increase. And the entire new tax regime, the focus is on ensuring that there is a consumption, there is a compulsory saving. Earlier in the old tax regime, somewhere down the line, you wanted to save compulsory because you get the tax benefit. ATC, for example. When did you take ATC insurance? Exactly before the due dates, it takes somehow you manage. You are not taking out of the will, wish, but because the compulsion that the tax is provided. The new tax regime is for the Gen Z, where nobody wants to save, live their life and spend and consume. And accordingly, government is not interested going forward. What is your saving pattern, consumption pattern, investment pattern? All the government wants, from the perspective of kickstarting the economy, to put the economy on the growth, is their way of doing it, is to ensure that you spend what they lost as part of their saving, what they lost as part of income tax. They said about 1 lakh crore is the total loss because of providing this benefit to the middle class. They can gain through a multiplier effect by consumption spending through GST. Because GST and income tax are twin brothers of taxation today. Twin brothers of taxation. Whatever you spend, it goes not just to CGST, but also to SGST. So considering it, if there's a consumption, then ideally there is a GST also for it. So if the government is providing a benefit, that does not mean you're going to save forever. So government is looking at a target of you spending it. 60,000 rupees probably you may buy popcorns and again gets taxed with the GST. Caramel popcorn 18% probably, salt and whatever, is 12%, you have the different varieties of taxation, that is menu-based taxation. Now, why am I putting this point to you? Middle class, if they have to benefit from the budget, the asset price inflation has to be controlled. Today, middle class can only dream of a house. And even though the loans are provided liberally, at the end of the day, you have EMI pattern going up for decades. At the end of the day, when you are going to sell the property, you are not going to get the appreciation because there is a resource constraint around the property in the city. So this is a challenge for the government, but the government has tried to provide this benefit. This is the major benefit that the government has provided as part of the budget. The second important thing to be noted out of this budget is the budget outlay, because you have seen budget everywhere. You don't know what is the total budget of India. The total budget of India is 50 lakh crores roughly. 50 lakh crores. Before, when in 2014, when the new government was formed, it was roughly about 30 lakh crores. We are now at 50 lakh crore budget, and this budget is possible because of the tax reform of GST. There's a certainty of collection for the government. Second important thing which I wanted to provide as an insight about this budget is the four pillars of the budget are agriculture, MSME, investment and exports. This MSME has been the focus of the government for a long time. Micro, small and medium enterprises. Micro, small and medium enterprises are the growth drivers. Basically, what are the growth drivers of the economy? 94% of employment opportunity in both urban areas and semi-urban areas and rural areas are created by micro, small and medium enterprises. 94% of employment opportunity. Coming back to the corporate taxation also, the MSMEs who are in the corporate in the form of entity contribute in the corporate tax also 94% again to the corporate tax also. MSMEs, which are listed as private limited entities, contribute 94%. Balance 6% is contributed by the large enterprises and some of the top rich corporates who are operating in this country. Now, when you look at this, why is that MSMEs paying so much tax? Why not other large enterprises not paying? Because they have the tax arbitrage and also they have tax advantages around them because they can plan through tax havens and global capital needs. But MSMEs are the real growth driver because they put their money here, they create employment here. Third, before even they get the collection from the customer, they pay GST. So there is an opportunity for the government. The government has to create an opportunity of providing them the required incentive under this budget. What they have done? First thing that they have done for the MSME is revision of definition. There is a revised guidelines for MSME definition for micro, small and medium enterprises. The first is there are two criteria based on which the MSME is defined. One is the investment criteria, the other is the turnover criteria. Basically, we are all coming under micro, small and medium enterprises. I wanted to keep my session very focused because we are all coming under MSME. I know about Tamil Chamber of Commerce members. You all come under typically a turnover less than 500 crores and investment of about 125 crores. So definitely you should know what has undergone change here. So accordingly, if you see, the three classifications of MSME is nothing but micro, small and medium enterprises. Earlier for micro enterprises, investment if you do 1 crore, then you come under micro enterprises. Or turnover, if it is 5 crore, you are a micro enterprise. Now the micro enterprise, the investment criteria has increased to 2.5 crores. And turnover criteria, that is turnover limit, has increased to 5 crore to 10 crore. Then if you have to be classified as a small entity, small enterprises, then your investment has increased from 10 crore to 25 crores investment criteria. Coming back to the turnover criteria, it has increased from 50 crore to 100 crores. And finally, medium enterprises, your investment has increased from 50 crore to 125 and turnover from 250 to 500 crores. So, by increasing the limit, the government is trying to bring more enterprises into the MSME. The question here is, I am happy to see, to critically analyze. Don't take me as pro against government. In one of the scheme I will be against, in another scheme I will be supporting the government. It's different. I am critically analyzing. The question here is, already existing MSMEs have not got the benefit what the government provides. They roughly say about 5 crore MSMEs are present. What are the challenges of MSME today? The challenges of MSME is collection. Challenge of MSME is collection, straight on the point. We know how to do business. We do business with large companies. We go exchange cards. They call us for meetings. We go and deliver on credit. And then what happens? We see history. History for you, history for the bank, and you would have given a check. Check would have got bounced. They will go and file a case, commercial court, as soon as 138 and the negotiable instruments act. And there is a Supreme Court judgment to say both proceedings can continue on. So what happens exactly is collection. Let's see business. What the government has done here is only increasing the limit to provide benefit to many MSMEs so that many MSMEs will register and this benefit can percolate to the lot of MSMEs. So I am not able to decode what is the intention of the government in increasing the investment criteria and turnover criteria, except the fact that many enterprises will come under MSME. But real change has been brought with respect to collection. Of course, they brought some reforms in the previous budgets where I have discussed extensively with all of you, where expenditure, they don't make the payment within 45 days. There is a it will be disallowed. But that is it really working? Is a question. So, what kind of reforms that the government is trying to provide with respect to MSME collection to support all of you is the key point. The second important thing that the government has done is with respect to credit enhancement and availability with the guarantee covers. These are very important for all of you. To take a loan, you have they have classified the credit guarantee cover in two broad categories. Micro, small enterprises, MSEs, where the present credit guarantee is 5 crores. This has got enhanced to 10 crore now. The second broad category is startups. So this startup is about you getting registered under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry and getting the benefits of Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. So if you are coming and recognized as a startup either by the union government or by the state government, then you get the benefit of the credit cover for the startups also. So credit cover today for MSCs are 10 crores and credit cover for startups are 20 crores. For exporter MSME, for a term loan up to 20 crores, they are providing credit cover, guarantee cover. Apart from this, for micro enterprises, this is for all of you. This is for my friends who start business through Instagram. Just kickstart their business with the idea, small idea, making revenue of about 20 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 40 lakhs from Instagram posts and all these people. I'm just giving a relevance of that scheme, which they have unveiled now. The government has said credit card for micro enterprises, credit card for micro enterprises. When we see credit card itself, we are afraid. When not when you are using, but when they are calling to make payment. Recently, one of my friends got the portability of a number of someone who defaulted a loan. Portability of a number who defaulted a loan, and all the call comes to him. SMS comes to him, phone comes to him, and he's answering, saying that I am not the person who got the loan because I got the number to portability. The new trial regulation has come. The credit card provided by the present in the present Union Budget is up to the 5 lakh limit, where for micro enterprises registered on Udyog portal, in the first year 10 lakhs of cards will be issued. They are planning to issue 10 lakhs of cards. The second important thing is for the scheme for first-time entrepreneur. Next important scheme is the first-time entrepreneur. Are you a first-time entrepreneur? Is a question. So first is the credit card. If you wish to get the credit card, you need to go and say how to get it. Because the plans will be happening only next 3 months later, not immediately. Coming back to the scheme for the first-time entrepreneurs. If you are a first-time entrepreneur, for 5 lakh first-time entrepreneurs, including women, scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, new scheme to be launched to provide term loan up to 2 crore during the next 5 years. So, the 2 crore term loan scheme, which is announced as part of the budget, is not immediate. On a phased manner, they will implement 5 years. Like this, they can show multiple schemes in the past 10 years. Next 5 years, next 10 years, next 50 years. And by the time you come to the next 3 years budget, you will forget about this scheme. So there has to be a comprehensive provision of this portal for the MSME. So if the government would have what is missing in the budget, I speak about this MSME scheme. After this dinner today, you forget. There has to be a single window MSME of ultimately it's your money. There's nothing called freebie in this nation. So if the state government is providing, there's a set of schemes the state government is providing as part of their budget. Because MSME, micro, small and medium enterprises is still there in some of the state government. Tamil Nadu, we have state government MSME schemes also. Similarly, union government provides what? MSME schemes. Both has to come in single window. Let's assume capital-oriented grants, term-loan-oriented grants, or social security for the MSME employees-oriented grants. Everything should be provided as part of real-time governance of MSME. Until this portal comes with an AI interaction, how many other schemes the government thinks were not made available? Tell me honestly, how many people have availed the MSME benefits as it is announced in the budget in the last 10 years? You are the most educated crowd here in India out of MSMEs. How many people have availed? I'm sure that answer will be no. Even somebody would have availed, would have attended some session randomly here and there. That cannot be the way to drive a business in India. So there has to be, even though these schemes are good, there has to be a portal which provides opportunity for all of you to go and access it. And we have AI now coming in. So AI can answer you. Bots can answer you. So this is one of the things which we are looking at but didn't happen. Next 3 important things of the MSME is focused product scheme for footwear and leather sectors. So the government has provided to enhance the employment opportunity. So they say by providing focused product scheme, FPS. This is one of the terms we use in foreign trade policy. Focused product scheme. Here, the government is trying to provide 22 lakh persons employment, which will generate 4 lakh crore and exports of over 1.1 lakh crore as part of the leather exports, that is footwear exports. The other 2 industries they are also focusing is the toy sector, because they wanted to focus toy sector because many of the toys that we get in India today are, by the time you complete the statement, you yourself saying China. To take your kids today to your Ampa Mall or VR Mall, forget about your savings. And they will get your toy, and then by the time you come to it, it's already broken. And you want to get one more. And whom does this money go to? This money goes to China. And we need models in India to see to the toy sector and the toy industry picks up. And in China, when we did analysis, in China, the toy industry works out of the rural areas of China. And this is providing huge employment opportunity in China. Government tried to do research about it. thanks to the chief economic advisor, he brought out this analysis somewhere before 6 months, and then this was presented before the government, and the government has tried to provide a consciousness to say Made in India product will be made. In fact, when Make in India was launched in Germany in 2015, I suppose, the Make in India lion logo had a made in China. So that was the situation, and that's the toy. So there was a bulk order shipped from China to probably to Germany at the point of time when Make in India was launched. So this was a scenario, and we need to tap this toy sector. This can be an opportunity for all of you. Because we're in MSN, you can see how to trade or how to look at this market as a model. Coming back to the tax proposals on the personal side, for the people who are earning salary, and by the way, the 12 lakh rebate model which I mentioned is just not for the salaried employee. If for anyone who gets an income, for them the slab rates are applicable, except the special rates of tax for the capital gains and other taxation. For the salaried employees, there is another benefit that the government has provided as part of this budget. Currently, if you see any amenities and benefits provided by employer to employee, any amenities provided by employer to employee earning monetary salary income exceeding 50,000 is taxable as perquisite. We all know that this is an age-old provision. Similar to perquisite, any expenditure incurred by the employer. How much time should I speak? I can take time. Any expenditure incurred by the employer for traveling outside India on the medical treatment of an employee or for his family member is taxable as perquisite if the gross total income of the employee exceeds 2 lakh rupees. These are the two things which is everybody knows. Now what the government has done? The government has tried to revise, there are revised perquisite limits which you can refer, which I am not going to highlight, but government has revised this perquisite limits now. They have enhanced it to levy tax on the above perquisites. Next important change for the individuals here is annual value of self-occupied property. Annual value of self-occupied property. Presently, the law provides nil annual value for two self-occupied house properties. If such house property cannot be occupied due to employment, business or profession carried out another case, it is proposed to treat annual value as nil for self-occupied properties where the owner cannot actually occupy the property for any reason. This is also very important development because many people move out of the city to other city and keep their property vacant, and because of that they are still paying tax. So the government has considered, because most of the middle class today, they would have bought one apartment before 10 years or 15 years. They would have let out that apartment, gone to a new apartment, but still they let it out and then move to another city. Or maybe for reasons of school or college, whatever it is. Then what was happening was, it was getting taxed. Government, having understood that this has to be provided as a benefit, as said, the annual value of even second property would be nil. So this is another benefit that the government has provided. Next important instrument that many people are investing is National Savings Scheme. NSS National Savings Scheme. Would have on and off invested in National Savings Scheme over a period of time. And we all know National Savings Scheme got introduced in 1992. And the tax was deductible in the hands of the taxpayer, and any withdrawal from such account was taxable. Now the government has said very clearly in the budget, if you put your money in NSS and it is proposed to exempt such withdrawal from NSS on or after August 29, 2024. any of the withdrawals. So if you are withdrawn from NSS or you are planning to withdraw from NSS, any withdrawal after August 28, 2024, which you have done and will be doing in future, is completely exempt from tax. These are all helping small saving investors who are doing. But however, you see, they are promoting withdrawal. That's the reason I told you. They are promoting withdrawal. You withdraw and do what? You spend. And spending money. I'm not saying that GST is indirect tax is altogether new in India. Indirect tax is not altogether new in India. We had VAT excise even before that. Tax was levied. At that time, petrol diesel price was not of this much. The entire reason of inflation that we have today is major contributor is petrol and diesel. It is out of GST. I don't blame the GST assets for the price hikes. But anyway, the savings are not incentivized. There is no compulsion of savings anymore from the government side also. The consumption is promoted. That's what I'm trying to say. Even on the withdrawal of NSS, you would have thought, if I withdraw, it will be taxed. Why I thought I should withdraw? But now the government is giving you a cushion to say, withdraw, no tax. So this is the intention. The intention of the government is to ensure you consume. Beware. At this time you say. Then we come back to the next important issue of discussion. Senior citizens. The government has said, you know very well, the TDS deduction is not applicable up to 1 lakh rupees on the fixed deposit is what they have said. But the question here is, the senior citizen social security as such, is it guaranteed in India? You pay taxes over a period of time. There is no announcement as such for a social security for the senior citizen. I'm happy today, I'm healthy. I run around, we earn, we save, we pay tax, both income tax, GST, and you save it. And further in the future, when you save that money in the fixed deposit, still it is taxed. I'm not saying you should not tax, you should. But the question is, what is the social security the government is providing? Same citizen in the US, Canada, works very hard with the skills, pays tax to the government. There is a certainty of social security. I'm resonating the millions of senior citizens point. Millions of senior citizens point. At times, when I travel to airport, when I see old people studying, walking and coming with no help, I feel this man has paid tax in this country. Not even a single person to help him to take him inside to the flight, for which he's still paying tax. So the question here is not an emotional point, but point to be noticed as a reality, where social security has to be strengthened for the old people. Linking to the present budget providing FDI for insurance sector to 100% coverage. If I would have been happy, the next development of the budget is they are allowing FDI up to 100% in insurance sector. For what? For coming out as a competitor for the local Indian insurance company, or coming out with a new product of insurance. Maybe for a senior citizen, insurance has to come. When I'm young, insurance companies are around me. When I'm old, insurance companies say you are not eligible. Ideally, it should be other way around. But fact of the matter, you still get it from the young people, but provide to the old people the insurance. Government has provided Ayushman Bharat. You take the car and go to the best hospital in Chennai. They will not accept. By the way, you have Ayushman Bharat for 5 lakh rupees in your pocket. You're not asking a free service. What they say is that there is a delay from the government in claim. So they are not available at the junction when you need the most. So these reforms are important when I am paying tax. It's my right to ask this, especially for the senior citizens. At the end of the day, today we have demographic dividend. Later point of time, it will become a liability to the government. So government has to come out with a clear scheme, Care India scheme for the senior citizen. And just because there are millions and they are not voters in crores, they are not, sometimes they are not being able to come and vote. You cannot penalize them without a social security. You need a social security. The government has opened up the insurance sector to 100% with the foreign players as part of the insurance. But failing to say what products or innovative insurance they will bring. It is going to be yet another insurance who are going to contribute, compete with the local insurance company, or are they going to come out with senior citizen insurance for their health issues? Is the question. There are many other developments. You all must be aware of transfer pricing regime. You are all into exports. You do export and do international trade. I was meeting an Exim magazine editor when I was here. He was mentioning about international trade. What are the benefits that the government is trying to provide? Even Suvarnachal was mentioning about the WTO. The entire international trade is facilitated to export import. Now, all these transactions are mostly with the, in case of MNCs, are with the associated enterprises. The government has tried to help those enterprises in the present budget. What they have said is that transfer pricing assessment. Transfer pricing is nothing but a concept which I want to drive to all of you, because you are the facilitator, being an exporter and importer. You are all in the CHA, most of them are into customs of agents. Not only just to import and export, but you facilitate most of the multinational companies to do trade. 60% of the world trade is by multinational companies. And you are one of the part of it in facilitating in India. You must know this regulation. Here, the government, transfer pricing is a methodology where they see whether there is a base erosion profit shifting happens from India through excessive booking of expenditure or royalty to their parent company. See, if you enter an agreement with the parent company and book more royalty, what happens? It reduces your profit in India. So there should be a check mechanism. Transfer pricing is one of the check mechanisms. They said that the transfer pricing assessment can be carried out as a block of 3 years. 3 years they can do it. Second important point. To check the transfer price, there is a methodology provided called arm's length price. Arm's length price, ALP determination. There are different methods of determination of ALP. I am just driving this point to all of you so that you understand. There are different methods of determination. Once you determine the ALP determined by the GPO for any given year, it applies to similar transaction for the next 2 consecutive years. The taxpayer exercises this option. So there is a certainty with respect to taxation that has been brought. Last but not the least.
Here are matches for lost.
Last but not the least. The very important thing which I wanted to provide as an insight here is the GST litigation. All MSMEs, when I say this, you are all smiling. There is a GST demand raised under 73 or 74 as the case may be. After that, you have the appeal mechanism. Some people branch out to writ petitions, file writ petitions. And there is a direction given by the High Courts to pay certain percentage as part of their demand. But if it goes through the appeal mechanism, under section 107 subsection 6, under section 112 subsection 8 of the CGST Act, relating to detention, seizure of goods or conveyance in transit, the existing commissioner of appeals, there is existing percentage that you need to pay for appeal is 25%. This is proposed to be reduced to 10%. This is proposed to be reduced to 10%. And in case of the appellate tribunal, it is existing is nil, but proposed is still. So they are trying to introduce a percentage for the appellate tribunal, because appellate tribunal is going to be in operation shortly. And in other cases, it is nil for the existing cases, and now it is being reduced to 10%. Similarly, in case to the appellate tribunal as well. My dear members, I just tried to provide you the overview of economy, what could affect you as an MSME, some bit of development from the international transaction perspective on transfer pricing, which should not be directly applicable to you, but just to say you that the government is trying to provide certainty. And I hope the biggest challenge of entrepreneurs and enterprises today is tax uncertainty. Hope the government time and again, has assured that there will be retrospective amendment. Unfortunately, there was a Supreme Court judgment that came that's called Safari Retreats in GST, where because of the definition of plant or machinery, plant and machinery, Supreme Court said that demand is not maintainable. But this government promised that there won't be any retrospective amendment. They have failed in it in the present budget and also in the 53rd council meeting that happened. In the recent council meeting, GST council meeting that happened, they have reversed this Supreme Court judgment and said, we are providing a definition for the judgment, the definition for the term, plant and machinery as per the explanation. And they went on to tax. This government promised that there won't be retrospective amendment to ensure that TSR tax certainty. But the government went on to tax by reversing the Supreme Court judgment itself as part of the amendment. This questions the tax certainty in India. I hope government eternal time won't repeat this kind of amendments. This will put hardship. Even after winning the case in the apex court of this country, you have the power as a legislator to amend. That cannot be done. When there is no clarity of the definition at that point of time in law. I'm sure these certainties have to be brought in. I hope in the days to come, in the years to come, government will bring the certainty to the business people who are the wealth creators of this nation and tax top 10 rich people of this country. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sri Kumar, for your elaborate speech on budget aspects. Now, this is time to honor Abhishek Murli. Mr. M. L. Srinivasan will honor Mr. Abhishek Murli Shaw on behalf of the chair. Abhishek will address for 20 minutes.
The President, Choranachar sir, the Chief Guest, Mr. KSVD Prasad IRS, Commissioner of Customs, various dignitaries on and off the dais, Principal Chief Commissioner Ram Nivas sir, Vaiti sir, Satyakumar, my good friend, all the other delegates who are gathered here today. Firstly, want to apologize for being late because I was at another program in the Andhra Chamber of Commerce, and Choranachar sir is a very close friend of both my father and someone I was grown up seeing his photos, so I cannot say no to him. So I wanted to come here. I apologize for my hoarse voice also. This is the 8th budget session in the last 2 days and the 4th today, so my voice has become a little strained by then. So, sir, how will I change the slides? You will change that? You can go to the next slide. Yeah. So, I first topic given to me is changes, the amendments in the direct tax, which is affecting the taxpayers. If you see before the budget, I remember reading these numbers, I stayed in my mind. Almost 16% increase in the direct tax collections. On another hand, 16 billion collection in direct taxes, highest number of tax filers in the history, highest number of tax collections in the history of India. And while there are many discussions, what's the reason? Better tax regime, improved tax collection, efficiency of the department. While all of this is true, so next slide. The real game changer in my view is what we call the AIS and the TIS, the Annual Information Statement and the Tax Information Statement. I'm going to share a very personal example. We have a client who has been filing with us. His returns for 35 to 40 years with us. Very nice person, very friendly. And this associate, 6%. I think for the last 35 years also, he's paid the same fees only. So I said, this is my family club, but now that I come, I want to increase the fees by 50 rupees. Just 50 rupees. I know that 50 rupees is nothing for me. I know for him also it's nothing. But just as a principle, I want to increase. So I told him, sir, I'm going to increase the fees by 50 rupees. 50 rupees. Immediately. Abhishek, how will you increase by 50 rupees? I said, sir, 50 rupees. No. I'm such a poor man. I'm middle class. All you can do. I said, sir, it is 50 rupees. Sir, parking itself is a building cost 50 rupees. What is it? No. You know how many years I'm playing with your family. I know your parents. Your grandmother has cooked food for me. I said, I do not allow it, sir. 50 rupees, sir, that's all. Finally, after 1.5 hours, after we debated, he left without being that 50 rupees, sir. Now, next year, same assessee is coming to file the return. You have something called the AIS and TAS. Now, just for a background, what is this AIS and TAS? Earlier, the income tax used to conduct scrutiny or do their assessment based on what information you give them. You have to be honest. I have to share my information. Based on what they have shared, they will say, oh really, what is this, what is that, why you don't have this. But it's all on your declaration. Whereas now in the AIS, they are compiling information from various sources. SEBI is giving them information. NSDL, CDS, banks are getting the information. It's coming from everyone else, the information is consolidated. So here is assessed. He has come to file the return. It's very poor man, cannot afford 50 rupees. AIS is showing sale of equity shares 85 lakh rupees. 85 lakh rupees is person has got. 35 years he is filing with us. My grandmother's cooked food and all. He has never mentioned he has a demat account also. So I asked him, I said, sir, have you sold shares worth 85 lakh rupees? His answer was not yes or no. His answer was, sir, how you found out? I said, sir, you forget how you found out. Whether you have done or not, you tell you. You have not done it, sir. You did it. So, fortunately or unfortunately, our country is saddled with many such Harishchandras. That no matter what scheme you bring, what benefit you bring, people do not declare. Another example I will share is a new client. It is existing client, 35 years. Now, new client, one person came. And I asked him, what is your income, what and all you have, what are the details, etc. And this person, we asked, sir, do you have salary? Yes, sir, yes, sir. Do you have any house property? No, I don't have any. Are you sure? Yes, sir, I don't have. I said, okay, any other income? No, sir, only salary. He said, okay, fine. AIS. Now, in AIS, what happens is, if I as an employee, I am claiming HRA, house rent allowance. If I am claiming house rent allowance, I have to give details of who is the landlord. I am the tenant. I am claiming from my employer HRA. Who is my landlord details I have to give. So I give the landlord details. Then against the landlord's plan, it will come that you have a tenant who's paying you a rent of so much. So this new client, new assessor, he said, I don't have any house. They are taking the AIS case, showing one Mr. Ganesh, who is working in Apollo Tires, has paid the rent of so much amount. So I asked him, sir, do you know Mr. Ganesh? Sir, I know Ganesh, sir. Does he work in Apollo Tires? Sir, yes, sir, he works in Apollo Tires. How do you know, sir? Are you getting rent from him? Sir, how do you know, sir? I said, sir, I just asked you whether you have property. You said nothing I have. Sir, I have land, sir. You gave land on rent. No, sir, on that land, what building is there? So, this is the unfortunate scenario of the country. I think if you see this high tax collection now, it's happened, the major surge has happened in the last 3 years, and it has happened after the AIS. In my view, more than GST, more than demonetization, more than all the other tax regime, the AIS has been the game changer in collection of taxes as far as land tax is concerned. So you go to the next slide. Next. So this is just on a right or not like comment chamber. You can play it, sir. Will audio come?
Nice.
So I like to know, but actually normally we are predisposed to expect the budget to be like that. But luckily, I think this budget has been universally accepted as what can be a wonderful budget. I don't know what my predecessor spoke, but I think universally it has been accepted as a really wonderful budget. And almost largely everyone has only good things to say about it. So if you want. Okay, keep going, sir. Next. I'm skipping a lot due to want of time. I'm just going to cover the main provisions. Next. Yes. You can go to the next stage. Now, as we all know, the big reform in this budget has been you do not have to pay tax up to 12 lakh rupees. 12 lakh rupees is everyone's fine. But I just wanted to briefly run through what this 12 lakh rupees really means. The next. Yes. Now, choosing between the old tax regime and the new tax regime was a real challenge. Because still last year, until at least the current year, that choosing between the new regime and old regime was easy. When it was first introduced in 2020, it's been 5 years now, it was introduced in 2020, and the new tax regime was introduced then. It was brought as a simplified tax structure. Very easy to file. Exemption just to file your return happy. So how much tax? Just 60,000 extra. Sir, I will take 3 days. I don't need to file it within 1 hour. Let it be complex. But the 60,000 I don't want to pay. So in 2020 when they introduced, and the next year they had a meeting with the finance ministry after they present the budget. Someone asked the journalist, how many people are filing their tax returns in the new regime? And somebody from the battalion of people there mentioned that 49% of people are failing. I said, that's not possible. That means if you have a table of 4 people here, 2 of them out of 4 are failing in the new regime. Which was not the case. It was not the case then. Only I could count in my fingers the number of people who filed in the new regime at the time. So I said, that's not possible. Luckily, the journalist also found that. She said, are you telling me 49% of individuals are doing new regime? They said, no, we are talking about corporates. I said, no, I am not asking corporates, I am asking about individuals. Then they all discussed with each other. Something individuals they discussed and it was good. They said, finally they said, that data is not available with us. So later it came to like the next day or 2 days later that more than 99% of the tax filers were still filing in the old tax regime. Less than 1% were opting for the new regime. So over the period of 5 years, every year the new regime would get new benefits. Increased slab rates, increased standard deduction, increased rebate. That is started from 3 benefits, 4 benefits, 7 benefits, and in this budget, there are more than 9 benefits given to the new tax regime, which is not there in the old tax regime. 9 benefits. Ultimately, this budget, if you watch the press conference after, somebody asked again, how many filers are filing in the new tax regime against the old tax regime? This time, no question of saying no data available at all. Before the journalist could finish the question itself, 75% are failing. Come on, ask me next question. Because today, the new regime has become so much more attractive. And now, after the latest budget, I can say for sure that the new regime is going to be used by at least, my estimate, is at least 95% of the people. 95% I expect will use the new regime. And which is why it will play the biggest. I had to update this video because till last year, Mountavani was the new regime and Central was the old regime. This year, they have a old reversal which has happened. The next slide. Now let us come to the specifics. Now, this is the comparison of the new regime last year and the new regime current year. And that itself you can see so many benefits are there. Higher slab rates, lower rates of taxes, more slab rates are there also. But I wanted to clarify two critical things. The next slide. Because we all know this, no tax up to 12 lakh rupees. Here there are three very, very critical points. Because this no 12 lakh rupees has three very important conditions. Very, very important that most people are not aware of. The next one. Condition number one. It is not available for special incomes. The finance minister mentioned this, that for special incomes, do not have this. Special means what? I am a special person. Today's my birthday. Whatever I get is special income. No. Special income means income which has a special rate of tax, which is normally any long-term or short-term capital gains. Whether it is shares, whether it is mutual funds, whether it is land or building, etc. It all has a fixed rate of tax, which irrespective of your slab rate, you will have to pay a fixed percentage of tax on it. That is what they think by special income. So if you have any special income, know that rebate is not there. You do not have the rebate on that special income. Let's take a numerical example. I have a salary, 9 lakh rupees. Am I eligible for rebate? Yes. Within 12 lakhs, I am eligible. My salary is 13 lakh rupees. Am I eligible for rebate? No. Because it is more than 12 lakhs. Straight away. What if I have a salary 9 lakh rupees, capital gains 2 lakh? So 9 plus 2, is it less than 12? Yes. If someone says no here, it's 9 plus 2, 11 lakhs, less than 12. Am I eligible for rebate? Yes, I am eligible, but only on 9 lakhs. The 2 lakhs which is special income does not get rebate. Now let's take another scenario. Salary is 9 lakhs, capital gains is 4 lakhs. Am I eligible for rebate? Yes. No. Maybe. Notice on the part. Sorry? Yes, that's the right answer. The important point here to note is, for the calculation of 12 lakhs, you have to take all your income. Your salary, your capital gains, your cryptocurrency, whatever it may be, you have to add everything together to see whether 12 lakhs. If it is within 12 lakhs, then they say, capital gains, crypto. So, for calculating 12 lakhs, you have to include the special incomes. But to calculate the rebate, you should not include the special incomes. So, that is a very important catch that we will miss the next slide. The next most common question, so when I have been doing with the media a lot of discussions after this budget, the most commonly question I ask is, sir, 12 lakhs variyum tax kadiyadunu. Then why by mistake they have taken the 0 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 12 and all? Straight away they should have started at 12, no? That is not a mistake. It is deliberate. Your basic exemption is 4 lakh rupees. The rebate is there up to 12 lakhs. That means the moment your income crosses 12 lakhs, the rebate is 0. The rebate is 0. So 13 lakhs you have income. Up to 12 lakhs is not 0. They will calculate from 0. From 4 onwards they will calculate. 4 lakhs is your basic exemption. So therefore, less than 12, no tax. More than 12, full tax. That is the important distinction you should know. Number 2, the most critical one. If I have income of 10 lakh rupees, no special income, my tax is 0 because less than 12. But it is 0 because of the rebate. That means I still have to file my return of income. It's very critical for me to still file my return of income. I still have a duty to file the same and disclose. If you don't file it, you will lose the opportunity to claim your rebate. So please ensure that you file your return on income no matter what. So next. Next. Now, we have come to the most important point, which is old regime versus new regime. Whether it is still worthwhile to go for the old regime. Can we put a magic number to this? Next slide. Now, this is the old regime. It's a current old regime. It is like a old black and white picture. Some 2.5 lakhs basic exemption, 2.5 to 5 to 10, about 10, 30%, 520, 30. Some of them are the numbers, something aggressive. But look at the new regime. It's purple and gold, nice, bright, colorful. It's like you're entering paradise. Totally different from it. Is the old regime still used? Now, last year, before this budget, last year, if you came and asked me a question, is old better or new better? I will still say we have to calculate and see. We have to calculate and see whether old is better or new is better. And we had magic numbers which we fixed last year. This time, finding that magic number was so difficult. I'm happy to say we had our seminar yesterday, All India Taxpayer Association. And I think, at least based on my extensive search that I did, we were the first person to come out with these numbers. Next. This is from the last year. We had calculated last year, we posted this. This went viral on social media. We did not try, just Chuma posted, it became viral. So we try to do this now. I think so far we were the first persons to do it when we came out. Next slide. No. Next. Alright. So, as you all may already know, in your new income tax regime, you have no exemptions, no deductions. No HRA, no LTA, no ATC, no ATA, Mediclaim, PF, LIC, whatever PF you are putting, nothing you get. Whereas under the old regime, you have all of this. Now, if I have to decide between the two regimes, old versus new, if I have deductions and exemptions that I am claiming in the old regime of rupees 4,87,500, if it is less than 4,87,500, close your eyes. The old regime can never be better for you. Always, every single level of income, the new regime will be better for you. After that, very simple for you to know this. This figure last year was 1,60,000. It has gone up by 3 times. It has gone up by 3 times. 1,60,000 it has jumped to 4 lakh.